I know what all the problems in this country is due to.
Apartheid.
When in doubt, blame apartheid. Because the last week, Byron, has just been, I never heard the word apartheid spoken so many times. What caused the fire in Johannesburg?
Apartheid.
Why are the railway lines not working?
Apartheid.
Why are our towns a mess?
Apartheid.
The Joburg building that had been hijacked was actually owned by the municipality, for those of you who don't know. And guess what? The municipality, they could have quite easily chucked people out of, except they didn't, because, the ANC doesn't like property rights. There is a department in this country that could have chucked everybody out without even having involved the laws or the courts to actually just eject them. It's called Home Affairs. You may have heard of it. What they could have done is they could have come in there and gone, hey, passports, passports. At least the ANC's got the moral high ground. It's not like any of its buildings have ever burnt down, apart from Parliament.
No, very true. I mean, the real question we have to ask ourselves is how can Verwoerd do this in 2023? And he's been dead for 50 years, but his power is just immense. Did you know Verwoerd was also responsible for the fact that the railway lines in South Africa are a joke? The Minister of Transport actually came out to say, actually, apartheid government used to spend 6 billion rand on the railways, and before we took power, they cut that down to 1 billion rand. So therefore, it's their fault the railways are in such a mess.
I don't know, man. As far as I remember, the apartheid government gave a very good, working, functional railway to the ANC. It's actually pretty good for all intents and purposes. And then the ANC gave it to Mr. Fix for Call, and he didn't fix it. And now we don't have a railway line. In fact, we're actually down to less than a third of the apartheid regime's railway line. I suppose you could blame apartheid for not growing it, but I mean, shrinking it?
But I mean, as I said, the power of Verwoerd knows no bounds whatsoever. Ironically enough, the EFF has come out and says, well, how can you blame apartheid, you idiots? If the EFF says apartheid is not a legitimate excuse, one really has to question like how far down the ANC wants to go to this blaming apartheid rhetoric. Because according to Floyd Shivambu, who we dislike immensely, but he says one true thing. These ANC mediocre puppets have zero intellectual, political, ideological, and even spiritual commitment and fortitude to bring about meaningful change to South Africa. What has happened is that the apartheid state built a functioning society for the minority, but the benefits were given to the majority when the ANC took over. What has the ANC done since the majority took over? Stolen, broken, burned down, and sang songs that sort of divided the nation. I mean, that is the legacy of the ANC, and you can blame apartheid as much as possible. Singapore was built in 20 years. South Africa has de-developed in 30 years, and there's no one else to blame, not even the ghost of Verwoerd.
Well, I'm glad you said all that, Ramon, because in answer to your question, how far back can we go? According to Zulu, mate, we could go back to 1986, the De Villiers Commission, which said, let's not build stuff in inner cities. Problem was, like, even if you take that as a stretch, he said this in 1986, which means, 4 plus 4, carry the 2, minus 28. I think you basically have like 8 years until the end of apartheid, from 1986 to 1994. How long's the ANC been in power, mate? Just checking.
30 years on the dot.
Oh, I see. So that 30 years is not enough to undo the crimes of 80 years.
No. I mean, it's different, Byron. It's very different because the problem that the ANC says is that, apartheid is only for the minority, and now the ANC is for the majority. And you know how difficult it is to get services and electricity and toilets and houses to the majority of people. I mean, England only solved it like in 1865. So, I mean, to expect the ANC to solve it in 2023 is a bit of a stretch, my friend. Really now.
At what point do you just stop and just go, hey, guys, maybe we fucked up? Well, actually, Cyril did say on the weekend, well, actually, maybe we did fuck up. But what you should do is only judge the ANC for everything it's done since 94. Now, for those of you who aren't really sure, there was a period where the ANC under Thabo Mbeki and Nelson Mandela actually grew the economy, but then they all fucked up because they put Zuma in power, and then things started to slide. But actually, if we were to judge each regime independently, we are currently living in the time of the ANC's dunciest president. President Dunce is the one who's basically destroyed the country. And he's like, you know what we should do, guys? Don't judge the ANC because my predecessors were great. Me, I suck. But if we judge it on the basis of all of us, then the fact that I suck, you should just overlook that. And this appears to be the ANC's bright spark strategy. Blame apartheid, ignore their failures. We really are dealing with stupid people.
We keep repeating ourselves. The state is retarded. The ANC is retarded. You, watching this, are not retarded. So if your mindset is, oh my word, I need to leave, you're letting retards dictate the rest of your life. And if you let that happen, well, you may as well just join the ANC then. The South African state and the ANC, the power is a mirage. It really is a mirage. These are toddlers with fake lightsabers fighting an imaginary Darth Vader. And once you realize that, life here becomes so much easier.